Where are you seeing the heavyweight division? Because everyone at the moment in 2025 is saying it could be the most exciting year we've had in a long time.
Generational wealth, got to be worth one more fight. Legacy contest, whole of the nation wanting to watch it, 50 million plus each.
Eubank Benn.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that fight?
He's been through a lot in the last 2 years, an awful lot.
How do you deal with it when you give an opinion on something and someone doesn't like it? For example, how did you deal with Big John?
I knew you'd bring that up. I simply said, do you think Johnny won the fight? And he let rip on me, and I mean, I wasn't expecting it.
In round 7, you could have called it to Johnny. And never asked for my advice and anything.
Thank you. I don't need your advice. Thank you very much.
Sir.
It's a Martin Bakole fight, because Bakole's like the dark horse of the division right now.
Gareth, welcome back to the show, mate.
Dodge, thank you so much for having me on again, especially as I went out with you last night and I was really rude to you.
You weren't rude to me. You were rude to one of my members of staff. I said this morning, don't drink tequila. And do you know what the funny thing this morning? Please don't ever do this again. I see you around the swimming pool in a pair of budgie smugglers. That is not a good look. I've got to eat breakfast.
Well, that's your opinion, isn't it? And I wasn't even rude to your staff.
You were.
I was mentoring him.
in a kind, mature way.
Yeah, in a proper way. Like you blood a younger person in a sports
with a couple
team.
of C-bombs thrown in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, let's roll the way back. Let's go into the heavyweight division. That's what everyone's interested in. Where are you seeing the heavyweight division? Because everyone at the moment in 2025 is saying it could be the most exciting year we've had in a long time.
Well, I mean, all the development. You and I spoke about this over a year ago now. How the Saudi Arabian investment, Turkey al-Sheikh, in particularly in heavyweight boxing, has transformed the division. We're reaping the benefits right now. Obviously, we've got those two magnificent fights last year between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury, which firmly put Usyk as the kind of number one of the era right now. Yeah. And he probably will remain number one of the era. But the year is set up in a peculiar way because Daniel Dubois has been one of the great forces in the last year and a half, as has Joseph Parker. So they fight very soon on the most amazing cards I think I can ever remember being put together, when you think there's 6 or 7 fights there that could all pack out an arena.
Agree.
On their own.
Agree.
So Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker fight on that card. Big Bang Zhang, Zhilei Zhang.
I like Big Bang Zhang.
Oh, we love it. Honestly, you've got to get him on your show
hands, right?
with his translator cut. Yeah, sure. I mean, I always, he's one of those people you always clench your fist and put your fist next to it. Just to remind yourself that he's got literally shovels. Yeah. So he's against Agit Kabayel, and you're looking there at those 2 heavyweight fights alone. You've got 4 of the top 8 in the world fighting, which is brilliant.
Who wins, Daniel Dubois or Joseph Parker? I'm
picking Daniel Dubois to win. I think he's very dangerous. He's like a detonating missile when he fights now. Very confident. Route 1, keeps it simple. Yeah. Parker's bigger than he was. They built him up physically. Andy Lee and George Lockhart.
Do you not think Parker's come into his own over the last few years? I think he's a phenomenal fighter.
Absolutely. When you think he's only 33 still. 10 years ago, he was world champion at 24. And he's one of the most popular guys in the division. Lovely man.
He's a kind human being, right?
Amazing human being.
And hard as nails.
I mean,
perfect combo.
I don't know how he switches from good guy to bad guy, but I think Dubois is the favourite in that. The winner potentially set up to fight Alexander Usyk, with the white elephants in the room at the moment being, what does Joshua do after his 5-round evisceration by Daniel Dubois? And is Tyson Fury, that 17-second Dick Turpin Instagram post, is he staying retired or not?
Hi everybody, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'd like to announce my retirement from boxing. It's been a blast. I've loved every single minute of it. And I'm going to end with this. Dick Turpin wore a mask. God bless everybody. See you on the other side. Get up!
There's no way he's staying retired.
He might. I mean, the weird thing is at the moment...
If someone's going to offer you 50 mil, are you going to stay retired? Or more? Might push up to 75, 80. Who knows? Are you going to stay retired?
We aren't. But I think Tyson
generational wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with
grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Everyone's looked after for 100. Like, it's ridiculous.
How old are you?
Younger than you.
Yeah, I know you're younger than me.
You don't
like talking about it. Even though you're a beautiful human being physically, you never like talking about your age. You're very coy about it.
Can you just give me a hair wiggle?
Right, now give me your age. No, what I was going to say was, when you're kind of slightly older in life and established as we are, you don't, when you look on that, and I know they've got to fight and get up for another camp, and they're quite weather worn, and they both had difficult years. Looking back, like you just said, generational wealth, got to be worth one more fight. Legacy contest, whole of the nation wanting to watch it, 50 million plus each. We see it from that perspective. They're both in their mid-30s, remember?
That's not old, though.
No, what I mean is not old enough to know that it's worth having it.
Okay. But I think they're both clued up enough to know to go, massive payday, come on. Who's going to offer the most money? Turkey, get your wallet out. Who's going to give us the biggest payday? I
think they'll be pushed over the cliff to do it eventually. Okay. But who
wants it more? Joshua or Fury? Who wants that fight more, do you reckon?
I think neither at the moment, because that's what I was going to say. Behind the scenes, I'm hearing at the moment that neither man's really desperate to fight. But I think they will fight each other. I think it'll be a July-August fight, sometime around then. I was suggesting that Anthony Joshua fight Dillian White next and get in the win column again if he can, but
I would love to see that fight again.
Me too.
I would love to see that fight again. There's actually hatred there, but niceties as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Member of his team is saying to me he doesn't want it. He just wants... there's three big fights there for Joshua. The Dubois rematch, which is a tough rematch. Very. The fight with Tyson Fury, which is tough, but it's generational, legacy, wealth, all those things. And I think there's a Martin Bakole fight, a big return to Africa fight. Because Bakole's like the dark horse of the division right now.
Let's move over to another really exciting fight. Eubank Benn.
Yeah. What
are your thoughts on that fight?
Well, it's bigger than it ever was. It's 3 times bigger than it was before the 2 positive clomiphene tests. Benn's having to do a big leap in weights. People say it's one weight division. It's not. It's 2, because he'll go back down to welterweight afterwards.
What actual weight is that?
It's going to be up middleweight. 147.
147, yeah.
10 stone 7.
Yeah.
I'm 160 pounds at middleweight. They've got that rehydration clause, 10 pounds, which I don't think will affect Eubank that badly. Benn's dangerous early in that fight, in my view, because he's coming with all that stinging venom and kind of pent-up aggression that he's developed over the last 2.5 years that I haven't fought. I think he's dangerous early, but I think Eubank's fought the better level of opponents, even though he's aged 2.5 years and he's been knocked out by Liam Smith. I go Eubank on points.
Do you?
What do you go?
I go Benn.
Early?
You
may be right.
I just think from the history, I'd love to see the Benn family celebrate. That's what I'd like to see.
I'm looking forward to the build-up once they get the fathers involved. April the 26th, Spurs. You're a Hammers, aren't you?
Yep.
You know, so I don't know if you'll go to Spurs. Do you go to Spurs?
I'll go to Spurs. I'll go to Tottenham away, yeah. I'm meant to be in Ibiza that weekend.
I know, you've got to come for it.
International Music Summit, where every big promoter and every
difficult
DJ.
one.
And I've got that on as well. I'm thinking, oh my God, which one do I pick? First world problems, mind.
Yeah, that is a big first world problem.
I don't like the thought of not being at that fight.
Oh, it's history in the making. Yeah. It's you know, like you say,
and I want to get Nigel on. I want to get Nigel on the podcast.
Have you not had him on?
Not had him on the podcast. He's out in Oz. He's going to come on when he's back. I want to get Nigel on. I want to get Connor on. You know, I'd love to do a round the table with both of them.
Oh, you'd be very lucky to get them together.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Well, not lucky, but it'd be a good coup.
I think it'd be a great coup.
Great coup.
And we'll have a proper deep conversation about, you know, it's difficult. Imagine growing up with your dad being an absolute legend of a fighter, you leaving your family and then going abroad by yourself to try to make it. Look what he's done
at 16.
Look what he's done for himself. That is some strong human being, and he is mentally tough.
He is. He's been through a lot in the last 2 years, an awful lot. And obviously,
he took a bit out on you. Have you made up? Do you remember you went to interview him when you said,
no, we've been fine. We've met several times since. As he said, we're not close friends yet. But no, look, like you say, he's an emotional character. Yeah. Weirdly, not weirdly, Nigel and Connor are both emotional. Yeah. And Chris both play the villain, don't they?
Okay.
Even though I think in this one, Eubank Jr is going to be able to sit back a little bit.
I think Eubank Jr, what I'm noticing is, he's got a good way about him to wind Connor
totally
up. And Connor doesn't mind being wound up because he's going to press forward and bring it on.
Yeah, some people are saying that they don't think the fight means anything, but I think the bloodline, but in British sport.
Oh my God! But any man in the UK who's watched the dad's fight are desperate to watch this fight.
Yeah, it'll be very big.
Because what's going to rumble afterwards? You're going to have a 2 and a second and a third, and maybe the old men might get in the ring. I don't know if the two dads would ever get in the ring if the money's right and Turkey pays it.
We can't have them fighting each other. It's too much.
Do you think?
I don't think.
I would love. I know it's bad to say it because they're both in their 60s. Are they 60s?
Late 50s.
Late 50s.
They are, yeah. I think Nigel might be 60
I think so.
Yeah.
But he's fit as. Have you seen him train?
Yeah. Very
unbelievably fit.
Yeah. And seniors fit as well.
Sure.
They're great. I mean, they're incredible physical specimens. What an amazing era they came from as well, with Michael Watson, who's 60 in March, and Steve Collins and all these guys.
Steve Collins,
yeah, exactly.
What's he doing these days, Steve Collins?
I don't know. I think I've seen him do a little bit of commentary.
Or just out in Ireland, probably enjoying life?
No, I think he's in the UK.
Is he?
He's in Surrey. Yeah, he's been on Talk Sport every now and again. Yeah.
Talk Sport.
Yeah.
Simon Jordan. Tell me about your relationship with Simon Jordan.
I don't really have a relationship with Simon Jordan. No, he does his own thing.
Do you like Simon Jordan?
He's okay. He's a colleague. He's not a friend. So he does his commentary on boxing. He's got very strong views on it. I think he lacks empathy sometimes. Yeah. Or I said that in the past, and I think he responded strongly to that. But he tries to give he does give what is the fans' view. Yeah. It's not an insider's view. So
would you say Simon Jordan's Marmite?
Yeah, but I think he's very strong Marmite.
Okay.
I mean, I listen to him on football and he's extraordinary.
Yeah.
On boxing, he's slightly different. He's a casual.
Yeah.
He's a casual fan, but he gives that casual fan's view on the sport. And boxing is a sport of opinions, as you know. People get upset by your opinions sometimes.
How do you deal with it when you give an opinion on something and someone doesn't like it? For example, how did you deal with Big John?
I knew you'd bring that up. How did I deal with Big John? Well, I didn't know it was coming. All I got was I was doing an interview on IFL TV, as I regularly do it. So I do a regular kind of weekly interview on IFL TV, which has a big kind of market. And Kugan Cassius said to me, who runs it, said to me, "Oh, I've been speaking to John about, he's not very happy about your commentary on Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen in Riyadh on the undercard of of Fury and Usyk."
Yeah.
2. And I said, "Oh, that's okay, fine." He said he wants to come on while I'm interviewing. I said, "It's absolutely fine." Well, John came on, Big John came on, and I simply said, "Do you think Johnny won the fight?" And he let rip on me, and I mean, I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I watched it back. He won round 1 to 4, round 10, and round 7. You could have called it for Johnny. So for you to say it was a robbery and disgusting,
I said,
Gareth, you was welcome in my house before. You'll never be welcome in my house again. Never come to see me again, and never ask for my advice in anything ever again.
I don't need your advice. Thank you very much.
Sir.
What did he say?
Well, it was a personal attack.
Is that the one when he was in his house and said, "Welcome back to my house"?
Waiting to have his dinner, yeah. And
how does it make you feel when someone comes at you like that? I know you're quite thick-skinned. You've got rhino skin. But deep down, you have emotions as well. Are there times like that when you think, "Oh, mate, why did I say that?" Or you just stick with your word. That's my opinion. That's what I'm paid to do. How do you feel when someone comes at you like that?
Well, I was a little bit surprised because I think it's obvious that he lost the fight. It was a close fight, but it was obviously he lost it, I think. And I said the judging was a disgrace at the time, and that was his issue.
Yeah.
And they felt it was a personal attack on them. And it was his son. Yeah. His son had just been through a really hard 10-round war. And so as a father talking about his son, that's a father talking about his son's career. So I get he was emotional about it and he took it personally. And so he was personal about me. And he said, you're not welcome in my house anymore. And which, and he won't give me advice anymore. And, that's fine. Yeah. It doesn't, I have to if I thought I was catastrophically wrong, I would admit it. I don't mind admitting I'm wrong. Yeah. But my overriding feeling is that Johnny Fisher lost that fight. Yeah. And it's just as simple as that. Yeah. It's an opinion. On paper, he won the fight. I think they should fight again. I think it's a great fight, a great rematch. Dave Allen will make money out of it. Yeah. So will Johnny Fisher.
How much do you think Johnny Fisher made for that fight?
I don't know. I rather than me guesstimate, but probably north of 200, I'd say.
Well, okay.
I hope for him anyway.
Yeah. And Dave Allen?
I don't know. Probably about the same.
Yeah, okay.
But the rematch is worth double.
But do you think it's a dangerous rematch for Johnny Fisher?
Very.
Yeah, okay.
Very.
Why?
Because Dave Allen's very seasoned.
Yeah.
He's a very underrated heavyweight. Yeah. He's a massive overachiever in lots of ways. He's been in against world-class opposition, world title challengers, and he knows his way around there. And he old-manned Johnny Fisher in the ring in Riyadh. And as Johnny said, as Dave Allen said the other day when he was on TalkSport with me, he's in danger if he steps in there with me again. I don't think it'll be immediately. I think it'll be after a couple more fights.
I really like Johnny Fisher.
Oh, me too.
I like him as a person. Yeah. I like how humble he is. Yeah. A London boy done good. He's got Eddie behind him. Rugby guy. He's coming on the podcast. Bash. Rugby guy.
Is he bringing Dad with him or not?
He went to Exeter University and studied history. And now he's a heavyweight on the journey to become, who knows where he's going to go in the heavyweight division. But I really like him.
Yeah, me too.
What are your movements at the moment? We're in Cardiff at the moment.
Yeah.
In a nice
Let's talk about BYB a little
BYB.
bit.
We're both here for BYB.
Yeah.
Backyard Brawls.
Yeah.
I've done some wonderful episodes in the last couple of days with some amazing fighters. What's your thoughts on BYB in the world of the fight game?
World champ, this is the last fight of the night, and you've got the World Championship here. The World Champ versus the Welsh. Here we go. Round one. Jesus. Barry John's coming quick. Jesus, oh my God, look out! He's knocked him out! He's knocked him out in the first 5 seconds! He's gone! Barry Jones has knocked him out in the first 5 seconds. This is unreal. He's gone. He's out. He's out cold. Oh my God!
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm now invested in it as a personality and a colleague for them, working on the post-fight interviews, doing some commentary this year.
Yeah.
It's great to be involved with them. They've got, I think, 12 events this year.
Yeah.
They're growing, exponentially. I think there's a big market for Bare-Knuckle. The main event here, Barry Jones, he's kind of Bare-Knuckle royalty.
Yeah.
He lost his last fight against Smash Nelson here in Cardiff.
He's got a tough fight tonight.
He has against really Gregorio Cisneros de Venezuela.
I had a chat with him last night. In fact, I had a chat with his interpreter. But when the Venezuelan turned up last night and got in the ring for the face-off, he's in good nick.
Yeah, he's
good.
He's a light heavyweight champion. Jones is stepping up to light heavyweight from super middle, where he lost to Smash Nelson last time out, lost his unbeaten record. These guys are extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing the face-offs yesterday at the weigh-in. I was trying to get them to smack talk a little bit.
They were respectful, both of them.
Total gentlemen.
Total gentlemen. And you know what I liked about it? You said to the Venezuelan, you'd kind of teed him up, like, what are you going to do to him? What have you got to say to Barry Jones to get something going? Exactly. And he was like, I don't badmouth anyone. No. I'm here to fight. The best man will win. I'm looking forward to it. They shook hands, they looked at each other, thumbs up, and they walked away. I thought that was a huge amount of respect. And I know you were bubbling for something, because everyone wants that bubbling for something, for it to go viral, etc. But hats off to both of them.
There are some extraordinary characters, even on this event alone. When I sat down for the fighter interviews, you've got people talking about how they've been suicidal in life, how they've got mental health issues, how they've been to prison, how they were alcoholic, how they were drug addicts, how they were in crime, and they've turned their lives around because they needed to educate their own desire for violence inside them. And when you educate violence, as you know, if you've got violence in you and you educate it in the gym, it turns into something quite beautiful.
It's an art.
Because it's an art.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all controlled. Yeah. And, characters in mixed martial arts, characters in boxing are fascinating. Their narratives are extraordinary. These guys, off the charts, so many of them. Yeah. There are 10 graphic novels and 5 Hollywood movies on the card tonight.
100%. And you know what's interesting? If I had more time here, I'd like to got every single one on the podcast, because when I was clocking them yesterday and having little chats with them, I was like, you've got a mad story.
Yeah, exactly.
And no one knows them.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is to get these fighters and turn them into characters.
Yeah, exactly. Give them a narrative.
Absolutely.
Propel them.
And that's
give
where
them a platform.
That's where I think we can come into this. That's why we're having a chat with Mike Vasquez and a few others.
Yeah.
We believe we can come in and really help propel this in the UK.
Well, I think it's about eyes on the sport. They've got the product.
Yes, a brilliant product.
Brilliant product. Let people, sorry to interrupt, just to let people know they got the Trigon. Yeah.
So you're not in a octagon like the UFC, the MMA. You're not in a ring for boxing,
Yeah.
you're in a little triangle where there is no hiding.
Yeah.
I went and saw the triangle last night for the first time.
The Trigon,
The Trigon. I was like, oh my God, you can't hide. You can't slip away.
Well, we're in a narrow room. It's about the size of this room. About slightly bigger than
and
this
I'm going to
table.
tear up with you.
Exactly. So you've got to fight.
Yeah.
So tonight, I think one of the guys failed to show. I think there's 11 fights on tonight. Begins at 5 p.m. It's in a big hangar, 1,500 people. Everybody's going to have a little drink beforehand. Doors open at 3:30. It's done in 4 hours. Half the fights end in the first round. They're talking about the safety levels of this now, that it's maybe even safer than glove boxing. Yeah. A lot of these guys have done MMA, glove boxing, Muay Thai, unlicensed boxing, white collar, and they've come into it. They're extraordinary characters. They just want to throw down and fight.
There's an accountant I spoke to.
Yes.
There's an accountant. I was like, mate, he spoke beautifully. What do you do for a living? I'm an accountant. What are you doing? Oh, Bare-Knuckle fighting tomorrow. I was like, my God.
Yeah. He had that itch in him, didn't he?
He did.
He had to try
Absolutely.
it. 6 years he's been doing it now,
where do you think Eddie and Frank Warren go from here with the amount of money in Turkey throwing in and the Riyadh and everything? It just seems like it's the perfect match made in heaven for both of those promoters.
Yeah, I think the whole of the fight world at the moment is benefiting from Saudi Arabian investment. I mean, the last time we sat down around a table in your studio back on the South Coast, the Saudi Arabian investment was beginning. We've seen the fruition of that over the last year, and we've seen small hall shows growing, middle tier shows growing. We know what the tentpole events are. Yeah. And you know, because you're in that promotional industry as well, where you've got your tent poles through the year and you wonder where you go with your small hall shows. Yeah. I think they're in a really good place. Yeah. As we said earlier, we know what the heavyweight division is right now. We know where it's headed. We also know that there's people like Moses Talma coming through.
I really like Moses.
Yeah, Taramona coming through. Do you know Taramona?
What's that?
He's a New Zealand fighter, Taramona and Justice Hooney. You've got these young guys coming through. Dubois, Italma.
There's another influx coming through, isn't there?
There's another influx.
I think Moses could be world champ one day, heavyweight.
I think he'll be world champ in 15 months. By the time he's 22. Before he's 22, yeah.
Should have a bet?
Yeah, come on then.
100 quid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What that he is going to be?
No, you think he's going to be. I want him to be.
15 months.
15 months. What are we betting
on?
100 quid.
Is that all?
Well, if
you lose the bet, you reveal your age.
I tell you what, if you lose the bet, please don't ever. If I win the bet, you're not allowed to wear Speedos walking around the swimming pool again.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Is that where we're going to end?
We'll end on that one. Gareth, it's been a pleasure, mate. Love having you on here. Looking forward to the fights tonight, and you're one of the best in the business, and especially them bringing you into this sport. I think it's a great move for them.
Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Good man.
Cheers. Thanks,
Cheers, mate.
Dodge.
Good man.
Cheers.